Next, we're going to be talking to Mario and Bill from Rancho Inca Alpacas. They're not far from here, so we're going to be seeing more of them in the future, but let's go to their interview now. So we're at the 2019 DFW Fiber Fest. I am at the Rancho Inca Alpacas booth, and I want to introduce you to the owners.
Mario Garcia.
And
Bill Baranek.
Thank you for coming to the show. It's really great to have alpaca in this conversation because it's an important fiber. As a knitter, you want that softness, and that's what alpaca brings, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
So talk about a little bit more about the alpaca fiber if you could.
Yeah, well, we have 42 alpacas. We share our alpacas once a year, and then we prepare the fiber to send off to the mill.
So once a year?
Once a year. And it usually takes about a year to get all the fiber out off of the ranch into the mill. But we skirt the fiber, we get all the dirt out, any vegetation, bugs or anything like that if there's anything in it, and we clean it as much as possible. We package it and send it to the fiber mill.
Great. So what are some of the challenges of owning an alpaca? Like if I was a guy and I wanted to go own an alpaca, what would be something that because it could happen. We've talked about doing that, honestly. What would be some of the challenges for that?
Well, what are your challenges as far as taking care of the animals?
Well, I mean, one would probably heat here in the Texas area.
But alpacas are suited for more of the Texas heat, aren't they?
Right, well, they get acclimated to the environment.
They get acclimated.
Yeah, they get acclimated to the environment.
What is their normal environment?
Normally they're in the mountains of Peru, Bolivia, and Chile.
Okay.
But they've been introduced in the United States since late 1980s.
Late 80s?
Early
late
90s,
80s,
okay. So they're a newer breed.
Yes.
Which is funny because as my knitting career, I've known alpaca for a long time. So
yeah,
it's funny that it entered the market so quickly after it came in.
So that's one reason, that's one way that we manage the animals. We shear them once a year beginning in April because that's when it starts getting hot in Texas. And then also throughout the summer if needed, we can do a second shearing if we have a really dense one, or we shear bellies to keep them cool because they expel the heat from the bellies.
Okay, so shearing actually benefits the animal as well.
correct.
Oh, that's
Right,
exciting.
absolutely.
And it benefits us as knitters.
Yes.
Absolutely. And in addition, nutrition helps the fiber. So a combination of keeping the animal safe and cool, healthy, not stressed, and nutrition helps nourish the fiber and give us a better yarn in the end.
That's important. So I understand that you guys show alpacas as well, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. We do show our animals. We show over at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We try to do 2 to 3 shows a year.
Yes, I found out that they go to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. I am part of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, so it's kind of exciting.
Yes.
And we didn't know that until this show.
Yes. So
What other shows do you do to show alpacas?
we do North Carolina, and we've done, now we're doing Oklahoma. We've done Oklahoma as well this year.
Okay.
We went to a show called Mopaca as well, which is in Kansas City.
Okay. And that's to show the animal.
Yes.
Okay. How many fiber shows do you do about a year?
Fiber shows like this we do about 2, but we also take our fiber, our yarn and products to shows to sell in addition to fiber shows.
Oh.
And we do some pop-ups and we do some local events with organizations and schools.
Okay. And
where
so
we sell our yarn, raw yarn, and processed yarn.
Okay. So where are you guys located in the United States?
We're located in Navasota, Texas.
Navasota, Texas, which is not far from Houston, where I am, so that's exciting.
Correct.
And what are some of the benefits of being in Texas for an alpaca versus, say, North Carolina or a different state? Are there any benefits to that?
Well, there are not many breeders in Texas that are here with a large herd of animals. You'll have some that are under 10, and then mainly pet breeders or pet owners.
Okay.
There are a lot of smaller ranches. There are a handful of large ranches in Texas. Some of the advantages actually of being in North Carolina or northern climates is you don't have to deal with the heat. But at the same time, we have a different breeding season. So we can have babies during the winter, whereas the northern climates cannot. So that would be a major benefit.
That would be
for
a
us.
really big benefit.
So we co-own some males with ranches in Colorado and Virginia. And since we have opposite breeding seasons, we can use the males a year round.
Ah,
Yeah.
see, things we know. This is why we're doing this. All right, so let's, at this point now, let's talk about some of the fiber that we have. So I'm going to have them describe what they have in their booth for you.
Here we have some textiles that are actually made in Peru. These are commercially made textiles because we do not have the equipment in the U.S. to make these garments. This specific garment is like a stole. It's woven. It's 100% baby alpaca, and the embroidery is silk. So that's all hand embroidered. As you can see, that's a lot of work. This is an example of a 100% baby alpaca cape.
Wow.
Made in Peru. Let's see here if I can get this to work. And so it can be worn a couple different ways. This is a really nice high-end garment that can only be purchased in Peru. We prefer to buy stuff locally if we can, and we try to do that, but we just do not have the machinery to make these garments. But coats such as this are available as well. There are some options in fur. This is made from alpaca pelts, but no alpacas are slaughtered to make these garments. These are all from animals that have passed.
Oh, that's exciting.
In Peru, they use all of the animal. They don't have a lot to work with in Peru, in the highlands of Peru.
Right.
And so they use everything they can possibly use.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So in addition, that would explain these hats as well. These nice looking Russian hats. These are very well made hats that are very difficult to get these days, but they do come from Peru, and you find them in high-end stores in New York as well. Now to make these products, of course we have to have fiber,
Right.
Fiber from the animals, which we share once a year, and with that fiber we are able to make yarn. Here we have some of our rug yarns. These are made by a mill called Spinnerella Creations, which we've worked with for several years. They're in Salt Lake City, and they make some really excellent yarns for us. We make rugs with these yarns as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Here are some of our knitting yarns, and these have different blends of merino, silk, etc. But we try, as Mario mentioned a few minutes ago, we try to enhance the health of the animals to produce a better fiber so that we have better yarns, because better genetics and better healthy fibers produce better yarns.
That's true.
Okay. And we have different types of yarns. It's typically they're about 350 yards, 1,500 YPP, and about 3.5 ounces, more or less. We usually deal with sport weights and try to stick along the lighter weights because that's better for the Texas climate. Bulky yarns are hard for us to sell. Although when we come to a show like this, when we have all of these yarns, we always have a few individuals come over looking for bulky yarns. So these are some of our yarns. Most everything is a blend because that is preferred by a lot of knitters. And we do have some 100% alpaca as well.
Alpaca has a longer staple or a shorter staple than wool.
Well, it's not quite as long as some wool, and when the animals get older, they often have a shorter staple because of the hormones that are involved, whether it's male or female.
Okay.
Okay, and so for those yarns for those fibers with shorter staples, we usually make rug yarn. We do. A lot of people blend with other fibers and make yarns. And we could do that, but we have so many animals that the ones with the longer staples, we usually make our knitting yarns, and the ones with shorter staples, we usually devote to the rug yarns.
That gives a lot of strength to the yarn.
It does, and you know, at the end of the day, when animals get older, they do typically have a higher micron than when they were younger. So the fiber's not quite as soft as it was when they were younger. But we do try to breed animals that retain their fineness as they get older. If they go over 24 microns, then they're definitely rug yarn when they get older.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to show us what you have.
Yes.
And we'll see you again very soon, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really great couple of guys. Mario was a little shy So Bill took over on the interview, but what we didn't get to was this wonderful table of all the products they had brought from Peru. Everything from finger puppets, which are really cute, to soaps. So I wanted to share that with you here because we didn't get a chance to talk about it on camera. And look for more from Rancho Inca Alpacas very soon.